am thirsty, Amara. Do you have any water for me? Or must I be rich before you share your cup? The entire palace hall went deadly silent. The music stopped. The laughter died. Hundreds of guests froze in shock as the most powerful man in the kingdom, Prince Kael, walked past the daughters of chiefs and wealthy merchants. He walked straight to the back of the room, past the guards, past the gold decorations, and stood in front of a shaking, terrified servant girl holding a tray of dirty plates. But to understand how we got to this shocking moment, a moment that would change the history of the kingdom of Omo forever, we must go back to the beginning. We must go back to the day the richest man in the land decided to become a nobody. Once upon a time, in a land where the rivers flowed with clear water and the soil was rich with yams, there lived a prince named Kael. Prince Kael was a man who had everything anyone could dream of. His palace was built of white stone that sparkled in the sun. His barns were filled with enough food to feed the kingdom for 10 years. When he walked, servants laid down red carpet so his royal sandals would not touch the dust. He was strong, he was handsome, and he was kind. But despite all this gold and glory, Prince Kael was the loneliest man in the world. You see, being rich comes with a heavy curse. Prince Kael never knew who truly loved him. Every day, fathers from near and far would bring their daughters to the palace gates. These women were beautiful. They painted their faces with the finest powders. They wore waist beads that sang like music when they walked. They rubbed their skin with sweet-smelling oils. But when they looked at Prince Kael, they did not see a man. They saw a bag of money. They saw a ticket to a life of laziness. They saw a crown. One evening, Kael stood on his balcony looking down at the city lights. His heart felt heavy, like a stone in his chest. His wise old advisor, Mazi Obi, stood behind him. "Mazi," the prince said quietly, "I am tired. Yesterday, a woman told me she loved me before she even knew my favorite color. She only loved the diamond on my finger. How can I find a wife who has a heart? How can I find a queen who will stay with me even if the gold disappears?" Mazi Obi smiled a secret smile. He tapped his walking stick on the floor. "My prince," the old man said, "if you want to see a person's true face, you must hide your own. Gold blinds people. It makes them act fake. But poverty is like a mirror. It shows you exactly who people are." The prince understood. A dangerous but brilliant plan was born in his mind. The next morning, the sun rose hot and angry over the village market. It was a busy day. The market was buzzing like a beehive. Women were shouting prices for tomatoes and peppers. Goats were bleating. The smell of roasted corn and dust filled the air. Into this noise walked a man who looked like he had wrestled with bad luck and lost completely. It was Prince Kael, but today he was not a royal. He had rubbed charcoal and black dust all over his handsome face. He wore rags that were torn and smelled of old mud. He had tied a dirty cloth around his leg to make it look like he had a terrible wound. He walked with a limp, dragging his foot on the ground. To the people of the village, he was just Emeka the madman, a nobody, a nuisance, something to be swept away. "Please," he croaked, changing his voice to sound weak. "Please, help a hungry man." Most people looked away. Some walked faster. Some mothers pulled their children close, warning them not to touch the dirty man. Kael felt a sharp pain in his chest. Is this how his people treated the poor? Was their kindness only reserved for the rich? He limped towards the stall of the richest cloth seller in the market. Standing there were the three most popular girls in the village, the slay queens. There was Ada, the loud one, Ngozi, the proud one, and Chidinma, who only followed whatever the others did. I heard Prince Kael likes light skin, Ada said, applying more powder to her face. By tonight, I will shine like the moon. He will have no choice but to pick me. Ngozi laughed, shaking her hips. Forget it, Ada. He meets a woman with class. Look at my shoes. They are imported. When I walk into the palace, even the walls will bow down. Please, beautiful sisters, Kael cried out, reaching a dirty hand towards them. Please, I have not eaten in 2 days. My throat is dry as sand. Can you spare a coin or even a piece of yam? Ew, Jesus, what is this thing? Get away, you filth. Do you want to infect us with your poverty? Do you know how much this lace cost? It is worth more than your entire miserable life. Just a drop of water, please. Water? Laughed Ada, a cold, hard sound. Go to the river and drink with the dogs. That is where you belong. Do we look like a charity organization? Shoo! Get lost before I call the guards to beat you. Kael dragged himself away, his heart breaking. It wasn't the hunger that hurt him. It was the cruelty. These were the women who wanted to be his queen. He realized that without his crown, without his title, to them he was nothing but garbage. But destiny had not finished writing his story. Papa, she whispered gently, are you okay? Drink slowly, Papa, she said softly. The sun is wicked today. Do not rush. Why? He asked, his voice trembling. Those girls over there, they kicked me. They mocked me. Why do you feed me? I am dirty. I have nothing to give you in return. My mother used to say that we are all just one fall away from hitting the ground. Today it is you in the dust. Tomorrow it could be me. We help because we are human, Papa, not because we expect payment. What is your name? Kael asked, trying to memorize every line of her face. I am Amara. Amara, Grace, you are named well. As she walked away into the crowd, the prince watched her. He wasn't looking at her torn clothes or her bare feet. He was looking at the rarest thing in the kingdom, a pure heart. He whispered to the wind, I have found her. The beggar disappeared from the market that afternoon. But the story was far from over. That evening, the town crier hit his gong in every corner of the village. Hear ye, hear ye! Prince Kael is holding an emergency grand banquet tonight. Every maiden in the village is invited. Tonight, the prince will choose his bride. The village went wild. Ada and Ngozi screamed in excitement. They ran to their houses to scrub their skin and pile on gold jewelry. They were convinced the prince had seen them in the market, the real prince, not the beggar, and wanted to propose to them. I told you, Ada shouted. He saw my beauty. I am going to be queen. Amara heard the announcement too, but she just sighed. She couldn't go to a banquet. She had no clothes. She had no shoes. Besides, she had to work. The head chef of the palace needed extra servers for the big night, and Amara had been hired to wash plates and serve drinks. She wasn't going as a guest. She was going as a servant. Night fell. The palace hall was glowing with hundreds of lanterns. The music was loud and joyful. The smell of roasted meats and jollof rice filled the air. The hall was packed with the most beautiful women in the land. Ada and Ngozi pushed their way to the front, standing right near the throne. They paused and batted their eyelashes, waiting for the king. Then the trumpet sounded. Prince Kael entered. He was magnificent. He was no longer the dirty beggar. He wore robes of deep purple velvet. Gold chains hung around his neck. His crown sparkled with diamonds. The girls gasped. He was the perfect man. Prince Kael walked down the grand stairs. His face was stern. He did not smile. He walked past the daughters of chiefs. He walked past the wealthy merchants. He walked straight toward Ada and Ngozi. The two girls curtsied low, trembling with excitement. "Good evening, ladies," the prince said, his voice smooth. "You look expensive." Ada giggled, flipping her hair. "Oh, my prince, only the best for you. We are not like the dirty rats in this village. We are royalty material." The prince nodded slowly. "Is that so? Tell me, if a man came to you hungry and thirsty, what would you do?" Ngozi smiled a fake, wide smile. "We would feed him, of course. We are known for our charity. We love the poor. We are practically angels." The lies rolled off their tongues like oil. They thought they were saying what the prince wanted to hear. Kale stared at them for a long moment. Then he looked past them. His eyes locked onto the girl in the shadows at the back of the room, the server with the tray of drinks, trying to make herself invisible. "You," the prince called out, "the one with the tray, come here." The room went silent. Hundreds of heads turned. Amara froze. Her heart hammered in her chest. She thought she had done something wrong. Was she in trouble? Had she broken a glass? She walked forward, her legs shaking, her head bowed low in respect. Yes, my king. I am sorry if I disturbed you." "Raise your head, Amara," the prince commanded softly. She lifted her head, terrified. The room gasped. Why did the king know the dirty servant's name? Then the prince asked the question that shocked the world. "I am thirsty, Amara. Do you have any water for me, or must I be rich before you share your cup?" Amara's eyes went wide. She looked at the prince's eyes. They were the same warm, sad eyes of the beggar in the market. The realization hit her like a lightning bolt. The beggar?" she whispered, her hands covering her mouth. "It was you?" "It was me," Kale smiled, and this time the smile reached his eyes. "Look at them," he shouted. "These women wear gold, but their hearts are made of coal. Today, in the market, I came to them as a beggar. They spat on me, they kicked me, they told me I was garbage because I had no money. But this girl," the prince turned back to Amara, his voice softening. "This girl who has nothing, she gave me her lunch, she gave me her water, she treated a beggar like a king." Then Prince Kale did the unthinkable. He got down on one knee in front of the servant girl. "Amara," he said, holding her hand, "you fed me when I was hungry. You honored me when I was nothing. You are the only true queen in this room. Wealth fades, beauty fades, but a good heart is a diamond that lasts forever. Will you marry me?" Tears streamed down Amara's face, washing away the dust of the day. She nodded. Yes, I will." The crowd erupted in cheers. The drums beat loudly. Ada and Ngozi, burning with shame, ran out of the hall, never to be seen at the palace again. Amara did not just become a wife. She became the most loved queen in the history of Omo. She never forgot where she came from. She and King Kale built shelters for the poor, they fed the hungry, and they ensured that kindness was the law of the land. As for the slay queens, they spent the rest of their lives chasing rich men, but they never found happiness because their hearts remained empty. So, my friends, remember this story well. The way you treat those who can do nothing for you tells the world who you really are. Be kind, be humble, for you never know if the stranger asking for water is an angel or a king in disguise. Thank you for watching this story on African Folktales by Ray. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Until next time, may your kindness always open doors that money cannot buy.